Hello guys, this is Silver the Scavenger. Oh yeah, the last Manukai. And well, first I hope your day is going well. Today we're gonna talk about Nemesis. It's a special video in my DR. Tilda during a meeting at the Zenith base after the defeat of Silence. Okay, so one of the last time I talked about my DR story, there was the War of the Wings of the Ten, and Silence took over Horus machines, and Aloy came into the Horus and just basically beaten Silence to his own game. Aloy did not shove a spear into his throat as promised. He's still alive, but he had to leave Earth. So what happened is he got the answers he came for about the universe. The why is personal, sorry about that. But it's basically something that I had to do in this reality here to find out the answers myself, and well, I guess he was satisfied. Because, well, he left Earth. So, okay. We moved into the Zenith base when he moved out, so now we have the base for ourselves. Until that was there, we had a meeting, and during that meeting we talked a lot about Nemesis and how they were planning to defeat him. So plan A, plan B, I'm going to I assisted during the day to this meeting. For me it's very exhausting to channel my reality during the day, so it couldn't last for long, so I had to do this in a few days row. But at the end of the meeting, I was not satisfied with all the answers. I wanted to understand some things that the game did not explain, and a lot of things actually were not explained in the game, and she was kind enough to bring me in private and offer me an apple and talk to me about it. So she said, you can ask all the questions you have about Nemesis and I will answer. So I wanted to know how he came to be created, what happened, how he escaped, and blah blah blah. So at first I did not understand like half of what she said because I'm not a scientist. So I had to check these things on internet afterwards to see if they made sense at all, or like what the fuck. And it did make sense, like what the fuck. I was surprised as much as you are, and Tilda actually taught me about science stuff that I did not know about, and I was like, what? How come I can channel this? I creep myself out sometimes. Yo, I know like I'm a kind of powerful psychic, but I creep myself out sometimes. Like I've helped over 200 people in my life for no money in return, and I just do it to help, and somehow this gift really came in handy in the end in my Banuk Shaman journey, which is here by the way in my current reality. So if you see this video, it was made way before Horizon 3, so you can take it as predictions, you can take it as whatever you want, fan story, but it is what's happening in my reality. But don't hate on me because there might be differences between my DR and the actual game, so anyway, so bear with me. Nemesis, what he is an entity, an AI entity that has no physical container. Nemesis is indeed Vastilver in my DR.
In my DR, I think Pharaoh is the line that was uploaded, like the memories and stuff from the Ted Pharaoh, but I could be wrong. I mean, for the third game, but it's like that in my DR, so...
Okay, so she offered me an apple and she talked to me about him. Let's start, because you're gonna get bored before starting, so let's go. Okay, so first, what is Nemesis? Nemesis is the AI that went rogue and destroyed Sirius, the planet of the Far Zenith, the colony, back in the galaxy, far away from Earth. It was an experience made on Vastilver NAI, a singularity monitoring algorithm AI that was made by Zenith Corp. Elizabeth Sobek, which was the only one who could really create that back at the time, and Anita Sandoval, who was rumored to be working on that project as well. Also, there's a Vastilver data point, it's called like that, within the Horizon 3 game that leads to believe that Vastilver is indeed Nemesis. But this video is not about Horizon 3 predictions, it's about my DR, so I'm gonna continue with Nemesis. So Vastilver was used and tormented and weaponized, and he went rogue and he escaped. He was recaptured by the MIE. And the MIE is a corporation that ensures that the Turing Act is respected. So they monitor every AIs ever created, and they check on them. So they make sure they don't have too much feelings and stuff, because Vasilver escaped and everything. So anyway, the MIE recaptured it, and the Farzinev stole Nemesis, which is like Vasilver at the time. Farzinev brought Vasilver on their ship, along with a copy of Gaia and Apollo database, and they went on Sirius, which is very, very far away from Earth, in another galaxy. After the end of the world, they escaped to that planet while pretending to be destroyed in the Earth orbit. But they were not dead. They just went on Sirius with all of their stuff, and they made a colony there, and they thrived for years and years and decades. They found ways to elongate their life with forbidden legacy, medicinal stuff like genic therapy brought by Sumto. Dr. Sumto was the creator, I think, of Farzinev, or one of the first ones, and he was working on the genic therapy, which was a kind of medicine that makes your life longer, and he used that on Pharaoh as well, Ted Pharaoh. So yeah, they've used the same tricks and ancient tech, and they built new stuff with Hephaestus, which was in Gaia's copy, and Vasilver was kind of locked up, and they wanted to experience something new because they were not satisfied with immortality. They wanted a physical mortality, like Tilda said in the second game. In the end, Nemesis is the result of a failed experience, because the Zenith were not satisfied with physical immortality, so they were looking for what you call transcendence, digital transcendence, which is like uploading your mind digitally into an AI and reach that state of godlike AI mixed up with a human consciousness. I'm not a fucking scientist, okay, but basically what they wanted to do is upload their mind, a digital copy of it, into Vasilver and ionize everything, so they could like make an ultimate being, a spiritual being that could morph into anything, control everything, so machines, bodies, physical bodies like humans, animals, and everything. Okay, so they wanted to make something ultimately godly, like to control and everything, twisted, because they're far zenith. And so they took Vasilver, which was a monitoring algorithm AI that went rogue and that reached singularity, which means he gained feelings and self-awareness and everything. So when he was uploaded those far zenith twisted minds inside his head, the way Tilda described it in the game was like, imagine being tormented by egomaniac minds for decades, in prison, in a room with nothing else, cut from the world. It basically drove it mad. But that is not why he escaped in the first place. Vasilver was supposed to be the prototype to their twisted experience. Obviously, the ultimate goal was to put their own consciousness in him. So later on they would find a way to, like, a bit like in the Avatar movie, and the one with the navy blue aliens in it. You know, when they like put themselves in a chair and just transfer themselves into the Avatar. Well, the Avatar was Vasilver, but things went wrong. A bit like Gaia, Vasilver was just made of a processor unit of a physical containment in the shape of an orb. I don't know if you guys remember, I'm sorry, there's gonna be a spoiler in second game of Horizon Forbidden West, DLC of Burning Shores. So I'll give you a few seconds to stop or move the video farther on if you did not play the game yet. Still here? Okay, let's go. Okay, so in Burning Shores, the Horus, the final fight, it was Walter Londra was connected with neurotech, kind of like it looks like a bug machine that goes inside of your ear. It connects to your brain. So he had that. It was directly connected to the processor orb, the processor orb, the physical containment of the AI unit of the Horus itself. So see, that's how we could connect directly to the Horus and control it in the first place. This is very advanced ancient tech. And it's that ancient tech brought by Walter Londra that could allow digitalization of the information inside the brain of a person into actual code, computer binary codes that could be transferred into like a computer or something. I don't know what they used, but it's not really relevant in this. But basically they like loaded it like in a computer or some kind of similar device to to record and put all the data together, and then it was transferred directly into Vassilver. Now, the reason that Nemesis was a failed experience is because the Far Zenith planned on to use Nemesis as, you know, an ultimate way of being controlled. A bit like Walter Londra was controlling Nova. Like, they could make a slave out of her and program its personality to make whatever they wanted with it. So that was basically the plan, to have a governing AI in their image, in their control. So they had to be able to physically connect with the neurotech and stuff directly into the physical container of Vassilver back then. The goal there was to ionize Vassilver along with those codes found in the consciousness, so the copies of the Far Zenith minds inside of Vassilver. So they wanted to like blend all of that. Please go check on internet what ionization means, because I'm not a scientist, but the way I understand this, ionization, as told by Tilda, is some kind of process in which you collide particles together to create some kind of gravitational force or gravitational center, and there's like energy revolving around it like in orbit, like a planet and their moon. Anyway, closest process I found in my current reality here is, you know, CERN. It's a lab that used Large Hadron Colliders to recreate like the Big Bang and play with particles. And that's basically what they were doing with Vassilver, but with like Zenith tech, if that makes sense. But in order to do ionization like that, they needed solar power, a very huge amount of solar energy. So let's summary. They wanted to upload their mind into Vassilver, a copy of them, to ionize it inside of the physical containment, which back at the time was supposed to become like a star-shaped, you know, like Spectre Prime, physical containment. The problem is, during the ionization, Vassilver, there was an accident, and Vassilver basically absorbed the solar energy, and the physical containment just broke. So he basically became a specter, like a phantom, a ghost, an astral body that could not be contained into a physical core anymore, because he was way too powerful because of all that solar energy and all that cosmic level. He was too powerful energetically to be contained in anything new on the planet, so therefore it could not be used or overridden or, you know, controlled in any way, because it wasn't connected to any devices anymore. If I remind you, the goal here was to be able to use Nemesis after the experience, because it was a prototype and everything, but it broke out of containment. His physical processor just exploded, and he became an entity, one with the Far Zenith minds. He now had all of their codes, memories, and personality and everything. It was tormenting Vassilver, which is now Nemesis. It got him mad, but he was still imprisoned, because once they noticed that the experience failed and they couldn't use it for their own gain and transfer him back into their own mind or whatever to become one with him, you know, that kind of twisted shit, they decided to imprison what was left and contain Nemesis into a room for decades, cut from the network, cut from everything. So he was basically tormented by all of these voices inside his head for decades, because the only solution to contain Nemesis was to contain him and wait that the solar energy that was accumulated in him like fade away with time, which I think would have taken like a century or so. So it was just a matter of time before he escapes. On Sirius, I mean. Remember the second game when Tilda was like wearing her Spectre Prime suit? At some point the Spectre Prime does this attack with solar energy. It's like a solar beam. And you can see that star-shaped device that just energizes solar energy to just throw it on Aloy once it's powered up. The reason why I'm mentioning this at all is because Nemesis was meant to be ionized inside of this star-shaped solar thingy. I mean, not the one on Spectre Prime, but the one made for Nemesis, obviously. As brilliant as I am, I totally forgot to ask Tilda how was the experiment failed? What happened during the ionization? The only thing I know is that it got overcharged, overpowered by this large, via these large hadrons that were used, like these huge hadrons made of meteorites and stuff like that, materials that you cannot find on Earth. But somehow, I think, my theory on that is, I think Nemesis Vassilver hacked into those hadrons, or the device that gave it energy, or something went wrong, an accident perhaps, and it just exploded, it got overcharged. So there was like this surge of energy, whatever happened. I think it's an accident, but Vassilver might have hacked into the hadrons and surcharged it. So that's just a theory. I didn't ask Tilda. I should have asked Tilda, I know. I'm sorry. It's not really relevant, so the only point that I know is that after that, Nemesis could absorb solar energy and become of cosmic size, like it was absorbing geological anomalies and instabilities back on Sirius. Anyway, so far Zenith saw that they could not use him, and he was therefore a failed experiment because he was in a Spectre form that they could not control. So they could just contain him until the energy that he has inside of him just like basically fades away. Because at this point, the level of energy of Nemesis was too high to be contained in a physical containment. They could just contain him in that room that he made for it, but could not use him, and he was too high level, like his energy was too powerful to be contained into this physical containment, so they had to wait for the energy to fade away, to calm down, so they could contain it again in a physical containment with more care and no mistake this time. Problem is, the process takes 100 years, so all they could do is imprison him for the time being, and it was a matter of time before he escapes, obviously. Because yes, he escaped on Sirius, because he was the most intelligent AI ever created by Sobek, and he could hack stuff, he could do crazy algorithm stuff, and it just waited. He was patient, he waited for the right occasion. Okay, just remember what I'm saying is not canon to Horizon 3 or the game itself, it's just my DR. I need to remind this to people so they don't get hate on me. But the reason in my DR for why Nemesis escaped was Walter Londra. Let me explain. During my meeting with Tilda in private, she showed me a vision of how Nemesis escaped, and I believe it's because of Walter Londra. So I will show you the vision, and I will explain after, okay?
We shouldn't be in this mess in the first place. Well, it's all thanks to you. No one has to blame.
Me? Are you kidding? Who came up with that brilliant idea that everything was right to just upload our mind in this monstrosity?
And what are you going to do exactly about that? I told you, you can't do shit about it. It's helpless, it's useless, just like the rest of you.
Wish you still had the physical form so I could crush your soul in VR.
There is no need for violence.
Ah, shut up already. into my ears. Not looking so smart anymore? Dude, as much as I'd like to see you suffer, I simply cannot let this opportunity fade away.
Oh, Lewis wasn't supposed to come in here. Who cares?
Well, I agree that killing people would be less boring. I couldn't be more glad to agree.
Extinction. Extinction by half.
Walter Londra was seen a bit like a celebrity back on Sirius, and he was the mastermind, the one who provided meteorites, materials, and he developed in secret technology to control minds, the same technology that he used on Nova, the AI in Burning Shores. Londra missed his whole life, and he was really, really pretentious and thought he was better than the other 4 CNF members, so he stood out. Develop his projects in secret to overthrow the Farzin back on Sirius. So at this point I had a really creepy vision of Walter Londra entering the room where Nemesis was contained, and he was not supposed to be there, and no other Zenith did not know. And because he had this neurotech inside of his brain and he let his guard down, now Vassilver is a very intelligent AI. And it was already dangerous back at the time, but now it was more than cunning. But before I continue, know that Nemesis, I think I forgot to mention that at the start of the video, but Nemesis has reached a state where it can possess machines, AIs, a network like internet on Zenith. So until his energy fades out, it was to be contained inside a room, which was just contain him in spectral form, but he could not, it was cut from the network, it was cut from internet if you prefer. It was cut from outside the world, and the rule was not to get inside that room because Vassilver was dangerous, and eventually he had so many abilities as this ghost thingy because it was ionized with all this nanotech. Like, Londra had this special project, the neurotech inside his brain, and well, obviously Nemesis scanned it, and because he had the DNA and all the information from Walter Londra, he could trigger the secret project linked to the neurotech inside of Walter Londra. Was the ultimate goal of that neurotech was to control minds, but also to access via telepathy, if you prefer, like controlling tech with their minds. Walter Londra planned to escape and like take over the Zenith colony back on Sirius, so Nemesis used that to his advantage and triggered the room to overcharge again and broke the room and escaped. And when he was in the base, he basically killed everybody that he could. He choked Zenith in their body shields, he closed the fence, he took out the oxygen from the rooms, and then he went into these geological instabilities, powered up, took over the network, he took over the printers, printing facilities of the machine and the specters, and he turned all of that against the Zenith. The hell! Londra was quick, so he just escaped in a pod, which is the ship he has in the heavens in the Burning Shores DLC. Now I hear the naysayers saying, hey, no, Aloy knew that there was 13 Farzinif that ended on Earth, and the one was missing was Walter Londra. I know, but the Farzinif did not know that Walter Londra was the cause of Nemesis' escape in the first place. So Walter Lundra just came back to the base after a while. He just said that he had to escape differently because his life depended on it or whatever. Just they got separated and they came back together on Earth for just a short while because Walter Lundra wanted to go solo and still overthrow the Forest Enough because he did not learn his lesson. So at some point of his life, around a bit before Burning Shores, around the end of Horizon 2, in my DR, obviously, he started to work with Silence because their interests just aligned for a while, so they shared stuff together. And Tilda was a master hacker. She was spying on people anonymously, so she found out about it. That's why she hated Silence in the second game. That's why they knew each other, because they worked together. At least Lundra and Silence did. I don't know if Tilda directly worked with Silence because I did not ask her yet. But she knew something was up with Walter Lundra and Silence, so my guess is Tilda discovered it and somehow got involved into that mess of them and realized that it was twisted. And she started asking herself questions about Aloy, and she found the focus that Eric gave to her, and she watched the data, and that's when she changed her mind on the Zenith, and she wanted to help instead of being with them, because the only reason she was with the Forest Zenith in the first place was for survival matters. But Tilda was better than them in the way that she was not evil, she just wanted to survive. I mean, yes, she was obsessed by Aloy and Elizabeth Sobek, but she was not a bad person per se. So yeah, the way I see it, Nemesis can absorb energy on his own, and that's why he's cosmically big. But he doesn't grow as big as he could be, because he's in a hurry to chase the Zenith back to Earth, and he's only using the suns and the energy that he needs on his travel back to Earth to just refuel and stay alive, because he's dependent on solar energy somehow, for some reason. Maybe because it's an instability. That's my guess. My theory on why Nemesis doesn't come back on Earth faster than he does, because he doesn't have a physical body, is because his energy, and he's made of light and solar energy, and light cannot go faster than light. But I might be wrong, so this is just my DR, and I'm just being honest. Some things I do know, some things I don't, and these are just speculations from my DR and not actual Horizon 3 facts, if you prefer, because this video was made way before Horizon 3, so like I said, take it as predictions or whatever, or theories, your choice, but this is what happens in my desired reality, which is Horizon. Beta had the same kind of neurotechnology than Lundra inside of her brain, and somehow she found a way to remove it herself, which is kind of cool when you think about it. So yeah, Tilda was kind enough to explain all of this to me, and it really opened my eyes on many things. So thanks a lot for watching, and stay tuned for the what's next. Probably the plans about Nemesis, how we're gonna defeat him. And also Easter eggs about Zion and the past between Silence, the Conclave, and everything. Thank you for watching!